What's up guys, Anton here at DPR, and this week we're going over our first Q&A on YouTube. If you're ready, let's check this out. Alright, so I'll have Emily reading the questions for me, and here we go.
Okay, so from Texas Kid Reptiles. Best way to go about starting a double or triple recessive project on a budget?
That's a tough one. These are basically projects that you don't really want to go too much on a budget on. I would say my best take to actually do a triple recessive, let's say. So you want to work the Ghost G-Stripe Clown. I would say to be the most on the budget, I would probably try to get the visuals of the animals that are the least expensive. So here we would have G-Stripe and Clown. If you can get a double visual for the triple, I would get a double from the two least expensive genes. So here we get a G-Stripe Desert Ghost instead of a Desert Ghost Clown or a G-Stripe Clown. So I would get that, and then I would get probably like a very powerful male from the other recessive. So let's say you get a female Desert Ghost G-Stripe and a very powerful male clown with genes that you want to work with. And now breeding those two, you make your triple hets with genes that you're interested in, so like let's say OD and She Yellow Belly, will you have those incomplete dominance with your heads as well. And if the budget allows you to do so, I would also gladly suggest to pick up some animals that are triple het prior to actually making your own, because if you hit a male, you'll be kind of stuck with an animal that you can't really breed, and you'll just sit there in your rack without doing anything. But if you've thought before of buying a triple het female, you'll have that. There's also the option that's always very good, I do that very often, to buy animals that are pos hets. You'll get those animals for a super small fraction of the price, and sometimes they're awesome bets. I've bought 3 females combo that are 50% double het Desert Ghost and Clown, and I've paid not a lot for them, but it's rolling the dice. Maybe you'll hit it, maybe you don't. So that's how I would do it for that.
From Maddox Morphs, when will the new facility be completed?
Well, I'm super stoked. We're leaving for Panama in like 3 days, and I said I wanted to have the flooring done, and now it is done. We are in the new room right now, and I'm just gonna give you like a little spin. New colors, new paint, everything. The wall is done, the floor is done, and yeah. So I would say that we will probably be installed in a new room by the end of the summer fully. We're still waiting to receive some new racks in July. We're gonna take our time. The best thing is actually to take your time when you move animals. I understand sometimes it can be like in a rush to do it, but when you have the opportunity to just move your animals slowly as they lay, as they're ready to go, it will have a much smaller impact on your season the year you're moving if you can do it very slowly.
He also asked, what's your most anticipated clutch this season or year?
I have a few. I would say probably any clutches from the Red Stripe Yellow Belly Lace Het Clown male. I'm dying to see that visual, and honestly, if I'm able to hit it this year, I'll be super happy. I have him paired to a OD Clown that's building great follicles. She's pounding through like crazy, so that would be awesome. And well, I've also had him to a Enshi Fire Leopard Clown. She's not building anything, so I don't think she's gonna go this year. That would probably have been my number one. I also have a Spot Nose Yellow Belly Het Clown that was paired to a Chocolate Hypo Het Clown. So making some like Yellow Belly Dark Knight Het Hypo, that would probably be some amazing looking snakes, but gotta still crush the odds. Might be a little difficult on this one. I don't have any visual monsoons this year, so that probably would have been the best. But yeah, I would say like that Chocolate Yellow Belly Spot Nose Clown Het Hypo, and probably that any clutches from the Red Stripe Yellow Belly Lace Het Clown male.
Next question is from the Ball Python Project. What's your process for genetic pairing?
That's a good question, actually. I have a little bit of a OCD of like listing, Emily's at the back like a little bit, huge OCD of listing my entire collection and going through pairings that I could possibly do. Like even though I have one specific in mind that I really want to do, I'll still go and try out what if I paired that male differently and what would be the outcome. So I always kind of take an approach of what look I want to achieve, and especially the most important thing I always do in my pairing is what I don't want to have in a combination. So I will never really buy an animal with a gene that I really don't want, because I know for a fact that when you have a gene you don't want, it's mostly going to be the only one you're going to hit. Sadly, that's how it goes. So the way I kind of have my pairing is I always tend to have in the back of my head something that you breed for contrast, highlighter gene. So let's say like lace, yellow belly, or dream fire, or whatever. Good contrast gene are like cypress, bongo, blackhead are pretty cool for that. Chocolate is good. GHI is one. Enchi is one. So one like that. And I also tend to have like, if you have one dark gene, it's always good to have a second one and then a highlighter gene. So there's always a bit of like planification prior to actually breeding. And sometimes when there's a specific combo you want to make, you go through your whole collection and you try to understand which animal you need to produce or which animal you need to buy in order to actually be able to create that combination in the future.
Buster Maston asked, how did you come across your Dinkers?
Yeah, that's an awesome question actually. Most of the Dinkers come from NBK Reptiles. Like 10 years ago, they were importing, like many other breeders across Canada and the US, they were importing ball pythons from Africa. And when they were receiving a lot of animals, they were just basically picking out some animals that look different. When I started working here at NBK, there was so many different Dinkers. I would say probably 50% of the whole collection was only Dinkers. We've had like the Busy, the OJ, we've had Gorillas, we had the Keratin. We've had so many different Dinkers that we've been working on, and we've really narrowed it down to, well, the ones we know today: the Cantaloupe, the Apricot, and the Burn. We still have the Gorilla, but we'll see where that goes. So these came from Africa, from import. It's tough, honestly. With the amount of Dinkers we have, NBK is not a huge facility. He has roughly the same amount of snake as DPR, so around like about 120, 150 breeders. So having that many Dinkers, you need so many animals to actually have a well-rounded project. It's really tough to have Dinkers in a small collection, especially if you have multiple of them. But yeah, that's how we came across all of our Dinkers.
From Prism Exotics, in your opinion, what are the top 5 codon genes?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, wow, it's tough. I'd say probably like I've thought about that question a bit before, but like I haven't really narrowed down specific genes. I would say you need probably like, I would say like straight up, lace and yellow belly are the ones that any collection should have. Lace and yellow belly are my top 2 to go. Just lace is just basically the desert ghost and the cold down version of desert ghost, and especially the fact that you can double it is just phenomenal. These, like, lace is a very highlighter gene, so if your pick would be lace and yellow belly, I wouldn't probably go for any other light genes. I would maybe not go for like fire or genes like that, or orange dream. But I would say probably chocolate or Wookie. I consider these two like in the same game. Chocolate or Wookie are also genes that are phenomenal because the super form is just completely wild. I absolutely love what Blackhead does in combos. Blackhead is awesome, but if I had to choose between chocolate and Blackhead, I think I would go with chocolate more than Blackhead, although in combos Blackhead is better. I think I prefer the super form of the chocolate more, and I prefer the chocolate clowns and the chocolate Blackhead. So that's 3. Then I would say probably Hurricane. I love what Hurricane does, and especially if you have like chocolate, Hurricane, lace, and yellow belly, I think these 4 would be awesome. And let me think, probably the last one, I'm leaning towards red stripe maybe, but it's tough, honestly. I think I'll have to say Cypress for the last one. Cypress, it's one of my favorite incomplete dominant. of all. 5 is tough, honestly, guys. Just 5 incomplete dominant is so tough. Like there's so many good ones, but I would, if you categorize them, I would say you need to have lighter genes, like some enhancer genes, dark genes, contrast genes, and yellow belly and lace. So that's basically like the 5 you need to have. And it's also like always a matter of which recessive you pick. If you only want to work some incomplete dominant combos, I would say go for genes that can stack on each other very well. Let's say OD, Enshi, yellow belly, leopard, and genes that just can fit together and make something insane, like calico for example as well. These genes as even super forms would be phenomenal. If you want to work it with recessive, then it's a different game. Clowns will be different, pieds will be different. You don't want to have the same genus in clown and pied. So I think that if I had to answer that question just straight up for the codoms, they would be different than if you say what are the 5 most important codom for the clown project, the puzzle, the pied, and whatever. So that's my take on this one.
From Ball Python 101, how many clutches do you think you will get this year?
Honestly, I expected at the beginning of the year expecting something like 45. We had 33 last year, and I was expecting 45. But as it's going now, we're in May, and we have already 20 clutches down, which is pretty amazing. And honestly, the way it goes, I'm expecting anywhere between 50 to 60 clutches. So it's really going to be a good year. I'm going to knock on wood on that one, but I think maybe it's from 50 to 60.
And then from our friend Balls to the Walls Canada,
yes.
Room temps, humidity during the breeding season and off season.
That's a good question because I've messed up bad prior. In 2020, I've had my room temperature that was way too high, and I've had 70% slugs in my entire year. It was completely awful, and I've learned from that mistake. So my room temperature is from anywhere between 78 to 80 Fahrenheit during the entire season. I don't drop my room temperature at night, although I think it might be a good thing. I do stop the heat or reduce the heat of the racks all year long in the racks. I will have some periods where the night drop is lower than actual, like let's say summertime the night drop is like 4 degrees Fahrenheit, and in the winter it's between 8 to 9 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the humidity, unfortunately here in the winter it's extremely dry. So I would say it's probably between like 40 to 50%. Not ideal for sheds. I would really not suggest to have your room lower than 40%. The best, I think, pretty much the best is between 55 to 70%. 70% being maybe a little high, but like 50 to 60%, it's pretty good.
From Darian M.A. What caused you to make the leap and start YouTube?
My boy, Darian, good question. Honestly, it's funny because I've always liked the idea of having a YouTube channel because I've always wanted to share what we do, but there's always that kind of imposter feeling, and I still have it a bit today of you post your animals, you talk every week, and you share what you do. But basically, I still feel like I'm starting in this business, and although it's been a few years now. It was always something that I wanted to do, and now Emily just pushed me to let's do it. I bought a new PC and started. I do all my edits by myself, and I've just dived down deep in doing that on my own, and I just really enjoy doing the edits. By the way, for that, there's some great things coming. The videos are going to be more and more professional. I want to start doing some cool things in the new room about that. But honestly, for anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel, I would say there's no better time to do it than right now, because if you think that you need to wait to be ready to do it, you'll never do it. I was in the tiny room upstairs for a year, and now I'm going to be in the bigger room now, and the videos are going to be even better, but I would do it 10 times out of 10 to start in a small room and transition to the big one. So even if you have a few animals, it's always good to do. People hearing you talk, like you share your projects, you create some engagement, and the growth in DPR since we've made the YouTube channel has never been better.
Nordic 5235. Do you continue to keep temp low for females that has slower follicle growth rate?
Yeah, well, basically all of our animals are in the same rack, and we don't really have different temperatures in the same rack. It's all the same thing. No, it's pretty much all the same. I would say if a female just don't produce for a year, that's how they go. You know, we don't really force any animal to do something. If a male doesn't breed, maybe we'll move him around a bit. We have like some tips to actually try to have a male breeding, but a female that's not breeding, other than offering her food, and as long as she's consistent on food, and you know, if she's refusing to lock, you will maybe change males. But other than that, there's not much I would suggest you do.
So these are the last 3 questions we got, and they're from Ed Dusk. So he asked, how long after the eggs are taken out of the tub do you start feeding your females again?
I like to actually leave the female there for anywhere between 24 hours to like 72 hours after she laid, just because it's a big process. They take so much energy to actually lay. I don't want to stress them right away and move them around too much. So I will have her clean, wash her tub, new substrate, everything's cleaned down, females washed, you'll have a soak. And I would say on next feeding, you know, even if we just clean her the day before, on the next feeding she'll be offered food if you've washed her properly, and she's like, you know, ready to go. Most of the females will actually go back on food directly. It's not a big problem for that.
How often do you feed your mature males and females?
Everything is fed once a week for everyone who wants to eat. You know, I prefer to have all my animals eating regularly every week, no matter the prey. If a snake eats rats for a long time and starts just stop, I'm not shy to offer mice, because I've never really had any animals that just got stuck on mice and never came back from it. They might be stuck on mice for like a year, but at the next breeding, right after they lay, they just go back on rats right away. So that has never been a problem. I'd rather have a female eating consistently different food items than just not eating at all. So I'll feed all my animals once a week, and I would say maybe the males are a little more during the off season, because I want them to be chunky for the actual breeding, because they will probably not eat once a week at that point.
Same question as above, but then during breeding season.
I think I've pretty much
exactly
summed it up at the same time. So yeah, that's what I do during the breeding season. On the breeding season, honestly, all the females, it's free buffet. They will eat no matter how many rats they want to eat. They will eat as much as they want. I don't like to feed too big of prey items. I know other breeders that do. Personally, you know, anything above a medium is I don't really go all the way up to there. I prefer to feed multiple prey items. And I don't mind feeding on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You know, I'm here, the breeding is there, the rats. So even if I have an animal, I basically can sometimes feed some snakes in my collection every day of the week. You know, not the same one, but I will feed some snake on Mondays, some snake on Tuesdays, some snake on Wednesdays. Depends on how they are in their progression of follicle development. Some babies I don't want they were in shed, they skipped a meal. I don't want to have them skip a week or whatever. I don't really have a tight schedule on feeding. So I go a bit as I work my week, I see who wants to eat and who should have an extra rat or whatever. All right, guys, that was it for the Q&A. Thank you so much for everybody who sent us questions. It's super appreciated. Really good question this time. And yeah, honestly, it's cool. It's a really cool, different perspective to do a video and have you guys ask some stuff. We're gonna have more of these videos if you liked it. just let me know down in the comments, and if you have any more questions for further Q&As, we'll be doing more probably this summer. And on this, go follow us on Instagram, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and check us on North Market. Cheers and stay tuned.